Hi folks, and welcome back to Diablo 3, where last time we met up with Sean Bean, who took out his rage on some spikes going down these stairs. Sean Bean, of course, has decided to help us out with killing the Skeleton King, which is really kind of him, but in the meantime he wants us to find and kill John Dar.
You were a Templar, John Dar! How could you succumb to this coven?
The coven is my brotherhood now, Cormac. The powers we serve will soon rule this world!
Oh dear. So, Cormac obviously perhaps used to be friends with John Dar, and now they are no longer friends. I think he stole his milk money one time, and he's just never forgiven him for it. He's just really upset about the whole goddamn
My vision
ordeal.
was clouded by the coven's evil magic.
Betrayal can never be forgiven.
Okay, so Sean Bean
Thank
has...
you for your aid. I will go with you on
I don't
your
have
hunt for
AIDS.
the Skeleton King.
I don't have AIDS,
One
goddammit.
condition. If we find the sacred tomes of my order, they are mine.
Very well. I have no need of books.
Then onwards we go to fight the Skeleton King.
That's right, Sean Bean. We don't give two shits about your books. Templar is a fierce melee warrior who wields a shield and one-handed melee weapons. Do you want the Templar to join you? Yes, we goddamn do. So here he is. We can click on him, and at first he can learn one of two skills. He can either taunt enemies within 10 yards for 3 seconds if we're hit, or he can heal us. We're going to go with taunt.
I would have chosen the same.
Would you? What if I change it now? I can't.
A worthy choice.
Thank you. Okay. Either way, he's quite happy that we've decided to allow him to taunt things on our behalf. If you don't know what that mechanic is, it just means that the monsters will be drawn to him as opposed to me. And seeing as we're doing stuff from range, that works out in our favour. And of course, will hopefully lead to Sean Bean's death, which,
Not enough hatred.
as we said, is inevitable in everything that he's goddamn in. So, with Sean Bean by our side, we should be able to take on bigger and badder monsters, such as these fat bastards here, who are going to explode with all of their Ebola guts and maggots in their scrotums, spraying all over the place, and give us lots of experience in the meantime, which is just what we need, because we are pretty close to level 10 now, and maybe we'll get some sweet new abilities at level 10. Who knows? In any event, we need to continue our search for the Royal Crypts. We did just find... Oh, look at this! We found a yellow bow. And I forgot to mention this last time, actually. So, blue items... So you get grey items? No, that's a white item. You get grey, white, blue, yellow, and then legendary, for the time being. And blue items have usually only got like 1 or 2 stats on them, like this. Yellow items will have more, but not necessarily better stats. Oops, they'll just have more stats. But it just so happens that this two-handed crossbow does nearly 7% more damage, and also does 11% area damage, which is nice. Which is really good for us. And we can use our acrobatic roll to get away. Unfortunately, our character does not make any kind of noises, such as Link from The Legend of Zelda, but he does a roll all the same. And I believe during that roll, let's have a look, that's classed as what we call in games an iframe, and the I standing for invincibility. So I think during that time you can't take any damage. It looks like you can also pass through monsters, mobs, whatever you want to call them. Which is, again, really helpful.
That.
No, you won't survive that. Our character, although perhaps not the most poetic, does speak the truth, it would seem. So we're not going to be killing everything, as I say. We're kind of trying to make our way towards quest objectives and that type of thing. And there we go, level 10. And it does look like we've unlocked something as well. In hitting level 10, which is just fantastic.
Darkness awaits you.
It does indeed. So what we'll do, once we've just made this area a little bit safer, is have a look at what we've unlocked. And I did notice, looking back at the last recording, I'd forgotten to look at something else which we'd unlocked, which is for our primary ability. Now this was one of the first ones we got, which was the Entangling Shot. And it's a rune for that, and it means that it can slow up to 4 enemies with it. Screw it, we'll go with it just for now. We can't, because Cormac... Sean Bean is just going absolutely crazy over there, and trying to kill everything he can lay his goddamn hands on. So let's try it out. Entangling Shot, which means that it'll now slow up to 4 enemies, where before it was only 2 enemies. We'll see what that does. We've also, at level 10, unlocked a passive skill. Passive skills are obviously, they're not something that we click on or use or anything like that. They just are constantly active in the background. So, whenever you use Vault, Shadow Power, Smokescreen or Backflip with Evasive Fire, you gain 60% movement speed for 2 seconds. That sounds nice. Or alternatively, because we've only got 1 passive slot, we could go with enemies hit by your Hatred Spenders are slowed by 80% for 2 seconds. I feel like we've got enough crowd control in terms of slowing things, especially now that we've changed over our Entangling Shot to slow more things. We're going to go with this to get a little bit more extra movement speed. So when we now vault forward, we run faster for a couple of seconds, which is good. It's you know, that's a pretty nice thing to be able to do. And as you can see, that's actually pretty noticeable.
I tried to count how many we've killed, but I've lost track.
Okay, well, Sean Bean's not very good at maths, it would seem, but he's not so bad with killing things. And to be honest, I haven't actually been counting how many things we've killed, and nor do I care. As you can see now, when we use our Entangling Shot, is that what it's called? Yeah. It's got a slightly different appearance. Before there was like a purple chain going between these guys, but now it's a red chain and affects up to 4 enemies, which is good. And it means that we should hopefully have to use our caltrops perhaps a little less often, but we'll still keep them on the bar there for good measure. And as I speak, we've found the Royal Crypts. Let's shoot some ashes, because we just don't give 2 shits about dead people. Have we been down here? No, we haven't. It looks the same as that other place we went to, but it looks like it's actually slightly different. Good stuff.
Keep your distance from him. This burden is mine to bear. May death bring peace from your madness, Leonic.
Traitors! Even in death, the armies of Condorus will still obey their king, even if you will not.
Cut his head off. Seems it wasn't necessary. I guess killing your own dad is enough, but he did it in true Arthas style, just a sword straight to the torso.
Ah, my son.
You no longer need to sacrifice for your people. You no longer need to bear the weight of your crown. I've taken care of everything.
What is this? What are you doing, my son?
Succeeding you, father.
And goddamn, if you haven't played Warcraft 3 or if you haven't played World of Warcraft,
To bring the warmth of life into my tomb.
We shall put you down, Hellspawn!
okay, so that's the Skeleton King. It looks like he's activated this pillar, an activated pillar, and in doing so, a whole bunch of crap is coming to kill us. Or not, as the case may be, because we have got Sean Bean by our side, who is trained by the SAS, as you know. Or by Judi Dench, as he performed his role in 006. And to be honest, he was pretty good. I mean, I like Sean Bean as an actor. I think he's pretty damn good. I don't know where he's from. Probably Yorkshire, where they make the tea. You know? No? Okay. And he's leveled up. He levels up as I leveled up, and he's, in doing so, got himself a new skill. He can either regenerate 14 life per second for me, or enemies that are hit by the Templar are slowed by 80%. Again, I think we've got enough kind of slowing capabilities, so we'll go for the life per second. Okay, his power grows, and he's really excited about that. We don't have any weapons to give him. This is a two-handed weapon, and I don't believe he can use two-handed. But yeah, we got that small cutscene there where we see the son of Leoric killing his dad, and yeah, holy shit! Did you? If you didn't play Warcraft 3 or World of Warcraft, you should. Just, if anything, just for the story of Arthas, because goddamn, it's such a good story. Especially if you, I haven't read the books, but one of my friends has, and he says, yeah, the background stuff in that is really good. But even if you don't read the books, the storyline, holy shit, it's really, really good. It's well worth watching. I mean, it's got to be said for Blizzard. They do make some. Oh, look at this! It's 11 dexterity on some gloves. We're putting those straight on, and it doesn't look like there's anything down us here. But yeah, it's got to be said about Blizzard. The cutscenes they make, they're really good. And for Warcraft 3, I mean, I don't know how old Warcraft 3 is. I mean, it's got to be like, I don't know, 2000s or something like that. Maybe late 90s. Probably 2000. But I mean, the graphics in the cutscenes for Warcraft 3 were really, really good. It's a strategy game, of course, but the storyline as well was really, really good and told some awesome stories. So well worth it. And if you do play World of Warcraft, then you know there's some good throwbacks and what do you call them, kind of Easter eggs, reminiscent of the story of Arthas. So yeah, it's really good. Anyway, Crypt of the Skeleton King. Let's go.
You will never defeat me!
You were defeated the moment you surrendered to madness.
He sounds a little bit like Gandalf in that scene, you know, with Saruman. Tell me, old friend, when did Saruman the Wise abandon reason for madness?
When did Saruman the Wise abandon reason for madness?
Do you remember that scene? God damn. I remember that scene. I don't know how many times I've watched Lord of the Rings, but it's too many to be able to say with any kind of pride. I do really like Lord of the Rings. It's really good. Not so much The Hobbit. I didn't think The Hobbit was that good. It's okay, but I probably liked it more so just because of how much I liked Lord of the Rings. Anyway, here's the Skeleton King. He's dead. And we've put Leoric's crown onto his head, and now his armour is magnetising over to him, and he's looking pretty grim. He's kept his beard though, and that's all any man can ask for, is to keep some of their hair and their beard into their old age. So this is the Mad King of Tristram. This is our first kind of major boss, and yeah, it looks like he does some serious damage. As you can see, he kind of teleports around. We can do like a cheeky roll over here to get away from him. We've laid a caltrop as well, a cheeky roll. Oh no, I need to maybe move my roll from 2 to 1. He's also got he's summoning skeletons, which you'd expect of a Skeleton King, I guess, to be able to do that. So I guess he's living up to his name. He's got 4,004 health, so as you know, that's quite a bit more than anyone else we've faced. But we're going to keep up our dodging and diving, weaving, ducking, and we're going to try and stay out this guy's way, because it doesn't look like he does too much damage to us. But as I say, the game is on kind of easy mode at the moment, and we're doing pretty well. There goes our rapid fire. Down goes the Skeleton King, and there he is. I think that's his face. Still actually quite good looking, even after death and having been risen, and after death again. Good stuff. We've got a bunch of EXP for it, and another legendary item, which is great, along with 622 big ones. So we made ourselves quite a bit of cash there. Let's check out this helmet. It looks like it's got the same item as appearance as the one we got before, so maybe we were pretty lucky beforehand, and I think we were, because this one has got exactly the same amount of dexterity on it. It's got a tiny bit less health, I should say, and it's probably not better than the one we've currently got. We've got some yellow boots. These have got some dexterity on them and more movement speed. These have got even more dexterity on them and the same amount of movement speed as those ones, so we're going to whack these on, and already our gear is looking pretty sharp. This crossbow does 20 damage as opposed to our last one, and that sounds good. This one does slightly less, and although it has less attack speed, we're going to go for it, because we're all about that damage. Early on in the game, you can afford to just kind of always go for more damage. A slightly better quiver as well, a reptilian quiver. Reptilian quiver indeed. Good stuff. Enter the Desolate Chamber. Why wouldn't you? Talk to the stranger in the Desolate Chamber. Here we go. I mean, at the moment, I feel that kind of...
The crater.
I feel that kind of everyone in the game is a bit of a stranger to us, except for, of course, Cormac, aka Jean Bean, who we've befriended.
So it was you who fell here and caused this chaos, and yet I know that you are not evil.
I am. I remember falling.
Do you remember who you are?
I am not your enemy. I think. Yes, I believe I have come with a warning. The darkness is coming. I don't remember.
Perhaps Deckard Cain can help you. Come with me.
Okay, so at the bottom of this crater is a black dude with Alzheimer's or dementia, and or both, and we're going to take him to Deckard Cain, who is just as batshit insane, to try and help him regain his memory or find out what the hell he's doing here. Or at the bottom of a crater. Luckily for us, and for him, he knows how to use a teleporter.
I ventured far to find the power behind the fallen star. But it was only a man. He can recall nothing of his strange arrival. Perhaps Cain will be able to find the truth of this matter.
Okay. So, here's our new friend.
I found him at the center of the crater.
No man could survive such a thing. Who are you? What are you?
A warrior, I think. I came bearing grave news, but I cannot remember.
Your message might be all that can save us from impending doom.
Okay. And Skeleton King has awarded us with a new belt. Let's have a quick look at our new belt. It's actually worse than the one we've currently got, so we'll be selling that. Anyway, Deckard Cain's got more to say, as per usual.
Everything you remember, stranger. Every detail.
Falling. Fire. A sword of great power. It was part of me. But it shattered into 3 pieces as I fell.
It is vital that we find those pieces. I believe the sword made whole will restore your memory.
The goatmen are rampaging through the fields. Could the sword have anything to do with that?
Of course, of course. Just as the dead rose around the stranger, the sword pieces drove the goatmen to madness.
Then I will slay them and return the sword to you.
It seems a little bit harsh that every time someone goes mad, we need to kill them. I don't feel that's the way that things would work nowadays, but this is Diablo 3 in Blizzard's world. Let's see what Deckard Cain's got to say about the Haradrim.
The Haradrim were powerful mages gathered together by the Archangel Tyrael to defeat the 3 prime evils, Diablo, Mephisto, and Baal. They devoted themselves fully to the destruction of the demon lords and left behind valuable tomes and teachings.
How did you become the last of the Haradrim?
My ancestor was the leader of the Haradrim, Jared Cain. When the Haradrim died out, their tomes stayed in my family. I was thrilled by tales of the Horadrim as a little boy, but it wasn't until I returned to them as an adult that I realized they contained deeper truths.
Okay. Has he got more to say? Oh, he has.
Tyrael is the angel of justice. He has been helping mankind for generations, though he is forbidden to do so in any direct manner. Long ago, the high heavens and the burning hells made a pact as a result of the Sin War that they would not interfere in our world.
The demons have broken this pact. Why does Tyrael do nothing?
The Angiris Council, the archangels that lead heaven, almost destroyed our world once to keep the demons from spreading their corruption upon it. If Tyrael were to act directly, it would alert the Council to the demons' activities here and imperil us all.
Okay, so we've been told something about Tyrael, although we don't know who Tyrael is.
You can recall nothing else?
Only that there were surges of light and a kind of pain.
How do you fare now?
The emptiness gnaws at me. It is a constant frustration.
Remain calm. The sword will be returned to you soon.
Good stuff. Okay, so we've now been given the quest to go and find this chap's sword. In the meantime, we'll empty our inventory, sell some stuff off. I probably should. What I should do here is I'm going to buy back this legendary item, and I'll show you for why. What we're going to do is we're going to salvage it, and if we salvage it, it will destroy the item, but we will get something called a Forgotten Soul. And a Forgotten Soul will later be used in crafting materials. As you can see, we're starting to build up some of the crafting materials that we use. Reusable parts, arcane dust, veiled crystals, and Forgotten Souls. And all of these things will be used in crafting bigger and better things in the future. So for now, let's have a look. Go to the Fields of Misery, which is somewhere up by the Cemetery of the Forsaken. We've got an arrow on our map telling us that we need to go over here, and this gate now magically opens because of the wonders of storytelling and progression in online games, or normal games.
If there's a sword here, we will find it.
Excellent. Okay, so we've got to search this area for the sword pieces, and hopefully we'll be able to put them back together and find out who the hell this goddamn stranger is that has some kind of madness. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time!